Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hassett Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only. We're based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We do the thought behind the thought, the philosophy of eschatology, what you need to know, your reality or existence. We solve a little piece of revelation. We're working on the fact that it seems like all four horsemen are riding right now because the signs are exploding, other things are exploding. World War III is on the doorstep, and other issues like that. What I want you to do is just look at it and see all the things that I'm monitoring, all the metrics that I'm analyzing. Blood moon eclipses, yes, but also we have a solar eclipse this month. There are prophetic patterns and trends that are just developing, and they're accelerating this month. Okay, so everybody's agitating for World War III. We can pick on Iran the most, but what's going to happen as a result of that? So countdown. We are in the final moments to thwart a nuclear Iran, Trump warns. Okay? This is from Harbinger's Daily. It's actually from Robert Gottslig. Yeah. And so Trump is warning that Iran is pushing, that they're actually ready to go and launch nukes. So, we're in the final strokes with Iran. We're down to the final moments. We're at the final moments. It can't let them have a nuclear weapon. We have a situation with Iran that something's going to happen very soon, very, very soon. Hopefully we could have a peace deal. And he's working on it with other nations right now. But Iran is the number one sponsor state of terrorism worldwide. And so they want death to America, death to Israel, things like that. So what are we working on? We're working on the signs. Trump is the full moon president. He was born under a full moon. I'll show you that. I'll prove it in a second. We're using the Bible. We're looking at the news. We're looking at what's going on. Once again, World War II was horrific with the nukes ending at the two, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. World War III will be 10 times worse. I'm telling you that the Satanists are looking at their big date of the summer, 6/11/2025. And so there will be full moons between these blood moon eclipses. Once again, Trump was born on a blood moon eclipse, which is interesting, in 1946. We have the Trump year. We have Israel with 7-front war going on. We have the blood moon again. We have the eclipse coming up on the 29th of March here. So it's a big, packed time. We're going to the center point, which is June. June 11th is this time the Satanists are going to meet. Well, that's Pride Month, okay? And so just an observation in the Bible, demons refer to themselves as they, them, we, us, things like that. So once again, that June time frame, 6/11, is that full moon of June when the Satanists meet. 6/14, Donald Trump turns 78. 6/15, Xi Jinping turns 72. That's a 666. So just interesting. It's going to be an interesting time frame to be alive. One more time. Blood moon eclipse on 3/14 of 2025. That's a Haman thing. That's a Purim blood moon eclipse. Well, the equinox just occurred on the 20th. And then also we have the partial solar eclipse on the 29th. We have Passover coming up. So we have, we go into Nisan real quick here. And then, so that's April 12th, but I celebrate it based on the new sighting of the new moon. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of patterns going on. Once again, lunar eclipse, equinox, solar eclipse, and Purim, blood moon eclipse again, spring equinox, and the Satanists are active on that. Zadok calendar starts on the 26th of March. Interesting. That's their new year. Satan's Day in Kansas on the 28th of March. Yeah, they're going to be meeting in Kansas and worshiping Satan. Then, once again, the 29th of March, partial solar eclipse. The 30th, probably that's the day for the new moon sighted for Nisan 1. I have a friend named Heather Rivard that claims the rapture is going to occur on the 10th day of Nisan, which would be 4/8. It won't happen. The calculated Passover is on the 12th. I'm assuming that the observed Passover will be on the 13th. We'll see. And then Easter Sunday will be on the 20th of April. It's just interesting that we're so busy right now. I'm showing you the calendar for the Zadok people. It's just interesting to see what they did. They basically go with the equinox and then the next Wednesday after that. Hey, you know what? We'll just watch their calendar too. I don't think it's that meaningful, but it's interesting. The other factor that's going on is AI is exploding right now. And you can see that he's got syringes and he's connected to the internet, and it's just that's the economists. They always are pushing for the downfall of mankind. That's what their goal is. You'd think economics would be about people, but no, it's getting rid of people. And so they really think that their AI is going to be the God factor. Just interesting. Just note it. Just note what's going on. The Satanists on the other side are saying that the equinox is really, really important to them. I believe it's because they want to release their fallen angels. So they're claiming the equinox portal is open. 8 things you need to know about March 20th of 2025. Eyes of wisdom. Just note that they are ramping up for something significant, and look at the figures in the picture. They're all kind of hybridish, demonic, whatever else, and then the suns and the moons and the other things like that. It's just interesting to notice how they're picturing the world right now. Spring equinox brings you back to balance, whatever that means. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying they're pushing to open portals. They really think that this is their big time of the year. They have, their sun is entering Aries. Don't ask me what it means. This is their sign. I'm just saying that they think this is a huge time frame. This is their next year. This is a new year for them. And it's going to be a new year on the Hebrew calendar. It's not a new year on the Christian calendar, but on the Hebrew calendar it is. And so, yeah, the astrological new year. And I'm saying, well, that kind of matches up with the Zadokians. They kind of match up off the equinox, and we'll be close. I mean, we will be March 30th probably again. Okay, would start the new year with the new moon sighted, but it's just there's a lot going on right now. So the pagans are watching the signs. That's sign number 3 for them. So just keep it in mind that they notice the new moons. They notice the lunar eclipses. Aleister Crowley noted all of these things, and they think that they're opening something up. We've had these strange eclipses over the years. It's just one more bizarre sign that something's going on. We just don't know exactly what it means for us. I'll explain it on the last slide. We'll get there, don't worry. So according to the physics of this, the cosmological physics, we're going to have a horrible time frame in 2025 with the fact that the sun is going to be more active because we're at the solar maximum. That'll occur in 2025. It could be around June 11th, which is very interesting. So flares, CMEs should increase. Solar pole flip timing may coincide with more earthquakes, volcanoes, other issues. Please be aware neither NASA or ESA, European Space Agency, have mentioned the percent of loss for our magnetosphere since 2010. We believe it's 27%, which means that last night I went out and looked for signs of the auroras because I thought we were going to have off a very small flare from the sun, or actually it's more of the coronal hole, that we were going to see auroras in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Well, it won't be tonight because it's cloudy. There will be more solar fireworks during this time frame. We're ramping up into the end of solar cycle 25 and its peak, and then we'll go into solar cycle 26. So it's just interesting. It could be June, July. It could be around that time frame that the Satanists are predicting. So just keep it in mind. It's a busy, busy year for all of these signs. So yeah, and we have excessive solar activity, but also a thinning magnetosphere. It's probably down 27%. Now, the one guy that can add some logic to this is Dr. Bill Schnoebelen. Love him dearly, wonderful believer. And so I'll just read what he says. Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. William Schnoebelen coming to you with a brief warning about the fact that we are upon the feast of the equinox called Aura among pagans and witches and sorcerers and such like this and that time. And we really need to be prayed up. The black magicians and the evil people are using this time, the Satanists, to ramp up their energy against the Church of Yeshua. And also we need to pray to protect our families because this is a time when they want to have orgies. That's kind of a required part of this rubric. For if you will, for this pagan feast, keep your eye on your teenagers, especially your daughters, during the season, and really have your armor on to be prayed up, and understand that we are in the middle of a real spiritual conflict. We've had warfare the last few days like we've seldom experienced. Have your armor on and be buckled up with the shield of faith and the large shield of favor. Again, watch your families, keep a close eye on them, and we pray that you will be blessed in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Shalom. So that's just a couple of days ago from him. He knows that they think this is huge. We'll have Courtney Turner on June 11th on a show with her. It'll be live. And so that'll be on that June 11th when the Centennial Conclave of the Luciferian Hierarchy are meeting to literally open up the portals. That's what they're pushing for. And then we'll continue on to the blood moon eclipse of this fall in September. Mark Biltz will be on the 12th, Thursday night, with Scott and Doug and myself. And so it'll be an interesting time frame. Ben Davidson, again, is talking about all these changes going on. So I'll just cite what I asked him the other day. My anticipated goal for solar maximum and pole shift would be June 11th, and that's the solar pole shift, not the Earth's, but June 11th, 2025, due to the huge century meeting of Satanists for the externalization of the hierarchy. That means they come out and they externalize, and we see them. They crave for fallen angels to be released. Any solar pole flip news? Ben hasn't answered. Are there any news about the galactic magnetic current sheet that's spiraling towards our solar system? My anticipated goal would be September 7th due to a blood moon eclipse, but March 2nd and 3rd of 2026 could work too. So Ben hasn't answered. If anything is newsy, he'll tell us. He loves to do that. Now, you're going to say the tetrads are meaningless. These blood moon eclipses are meaningless. No, the first one was witnessed about the time of Noah's Ark. The second one was when Israel entered Egypt. The third one was when Israel exited the Egypt, and that's 1447 BCE. A tetrad for Jacob, a tetrad for King David, tetrads for Hanukkah in 168 BCE, the abomination, tetrad around Columbus time, discovering America, tetrad, not blood moon eclipses, but a tetrad of eclipses of the moon when Suleiman rebuilt the streets and the walls of Jerusalem. Then tetrad in 49 and 50 as Israel won the war, tetrad in 67, 68, the Jerusalem War. I don't know what 2014, 2015 means, but guess what? It was a tetrad. And then 2032 and 2033 will be a tetrad again. Jews reckoned by the moon and Gentiles by the sun. Keep it in mind, and they're meaningful. Once again, I mentioned that Trump was born under a blood moon eclipse. He is our blood moon eclipse president. Okay, and so there it is, June 14th through 15th, and he was born during the time when they were talking about nukes. So it's just very interesting. And this is the year of the blood moon eclipses, March 14th and September 7th. So just keep that in mind. I think it's an Israel year. So there you go. There's that shows you the cycle. Soros 129. Trump was born June 14th, 1946, and boom, there's your eclipse, okay? And then also 73 years ago, so basically 700 days after Trump was born, we have May 14th of 1948, which is Israel. It's just very, very interesting that he's tied into the blood moon eclipses. And then continuing on, once again, he was born on that day. So there you go. You can see that he made his first international appearance on June 14th of 1946. According to Donald Trump's birth certificate, he was born in Jamaica Hospital in Queens, New York. And 5 minutes later, across town in Hunter College in the Bronx, UN, Secretary Trygve Lie called to order the inaugural meeting of the United Nations Atomic Energy Commission about war. So Trump, the blood moons, the wars, the things like that, that's what's going on in the world. Mordecai is the Jew who attacks Haman eventually, which is Hamas, okay? So Israel resumes Gaza strikes after Hamas rejects hostage release deal. So this is March 18th, and from Israfan, and then on the right, Netanyahu, from now on, negotiations will only take place under fire because you can't trust the other side. And what they try to do is cause the maximum amount of suffering from the Israeli public. It's just sick and twisted. So that's Arut Shava, and so that's Bibi talking, and yeah, so Trump and Israel are pushing for peace and safety, but they're going to do it through war, okay? Egypt, this is interesting, from Eli David, Egypt is willing to temporarily absorb 500,000 evacuated Gazans. And that's a Lebanese report. That's very fresh and new. Stossel is saying in the middle here that the Dems remained politically quiet on the Hamas war because the will of the American people is with Israel. That's true, okay? And then on the right-hand side from Israel, Ruth Shava again, IDF strikes Syrian military bases to neutralize threats. So basically, they're attacking up in Syria, specialized locations up there. And Israel is attacking at will. They're trying to cause the push for peace and safety. It's biblical. It's 1 Thessalonians 5:3. If Hamas won't release our hostages, blows will intensify, warns DM Katz amid international outcry over Israel's Gaza strikes. So this is March 18th again. And so it's interesting. In the middle, Eli David. So basically, when Britain was about to fall, Churchill said, "Our aim is victory at all costs. Without victory, there is no survival. Israel has the same goal in this war: a total victory." Very interesting. Total victory. And you keep on fighting until you have the total victory because they've proven that you can't negotiate with people that want you dead. U.S. announces Joint Task Force October 7th will hunt and prosecute Hamas leaders and supporters March 18th. A lot going on with these wars. This is interesting too. Blood moon eclipses and blood waters in Iran. Okay, it's just interesting. On Hormuz Island in the Persian Gulf, created blood red rivers that tumbled over waterfalls, turning the sea bright crimson. Yeah, so the blood red waters. This is from Israel 365 News. It's just interesting. Trump ordered airstrikes on the Iranian proxy Houthis, killed at least 31 in Yemen. Trump warned the Islamist regime in Iran that if they threaten the United States, America will hold you fully accountable and we won't be nice about it. So it's interesting during these warnings that the blood red river is flowing in Iran. It's just interesting. And so the Nile was turned red in Exodus 7:20. And so we're coming up on Passover. You know, the signs are there, and we're coming up on Passover. So Iran will pay for their warmongering, can't wash, can't farm. Iranians battle water bankruptcy. They don't have water. This is Ynet News. It's just interesting to watch the water levels in dams around Tehran plunge with water rationing. Water is a sign of a gift of God. When you're lacking water, you know you're under judgment, okay? On the right-hand side from Daily Mail, America threatened with sinister revenge attack from furious Middle East nation. And so basically the Republic of Iran has threatened the U.S. with blood-curdling revenge after President Donald Trump said that they would be held responsible for attacks by the Houthis in Yemen. It's just war, blood moon eclipse. It all relates to Israel and peace, okay? Red Sea heat. So it's interesting that Yemen is so close to the Red Sea, and we're up at the time of the Exodus Red Sea crossing coming up with Passover. So Red Sea heats up. Houthis claim 2 attacks on USS Truman. Not really. Vowed to strike American vessels. It's Passover. It's Moses. It's Red Sea. All Israel news on the left-hand side. It's an interesting time to be alive. So more on the war side, pre-Passover Haman plagues of World War III. U.S. targets Houthi sites in Sana'a for third straight day of attacks. Jerusalem Post from March 17th. More attacks all over the place. Only the first step. Houthis threaten Israel again. From Ruth Shava again from March 17th rather. Houthi rebels react to latest threat from Trump with more threats against Israel. Interesting. Busy. Will Israel America attack Iran's nukes? That's what's going to be resolved eventually here. Okay. China and Russia signed an agreement on a joint stance on Iranian nuclear program as 3 powers reject Western sanctions. That's March 18th, so it's all fresh. And so that's all Israel news again. Then on the right-hand side, Israel and the United States are preparing for total war against Iran. So basically, you would think that Russia and China would block that, but no, Russia has basically said Iran shouldn't be allowed to have nukes and be able to nuke Israel. So you can see that. So Putin is talking to Trump, and Putin's saying Iran should never be able to destroy Israel. On the other side, you've got Pete Hegseth from Forest Lake, Minnesota. I grew up very close by. U.S. will keep hitting Houthis until shipping attacks stop, Hegseth says, and he's serious about this. The Houthi front, Houthi official, Yemen is at war with the U.S., escalation likely. So you see the wars, the blood moon eclipses, the solar eclipses coming up here. All the signs are there. The Satanists are active, and I think I've made a good case for that. And then this is Hal Turner saying Iran might be struck soon. He's saying France is giving warnings to their citizens to leave Iran immediately. What are French people doing in Iran? But anyway, so it's just interesting to see all these things occurring under these signs right now as we enter into the cosmic new year and the biblical new year with Passover coming up very soon. Another Haman, and that's Zelensky. The middle, let's see, where was it? Okay, way over on the right-hand side. No. It's, I don't have it on this slide, but it doesn't matter. It's just a big slush fund. Basically, the Ukraine war was set up to move cash to certain people. That's what's going on. So on the left-hand side, again, Zelensky says the Russians aren't ready to finish they don't want to end this. You can't make money if you stop the war. You need war and cash. And so, the crazy Brits are saying we're going to, be there to fight alongside the Ukrainians. You're going to start World War III. So the Hill is saying, and I can't believe they're saying this, sadly, Trump is right on Ukraine. We don't want World War III. On the far right-hand side, President Trump on Russia and Ukraine, I think we have the confines of a deal. I'm doing it for two reasons. Thousands of people are being killed every week, and the United States has paid, because of Biden, $350 billion on a war that should have never occurred. Okay? Wow. So Ukraine is pushing for more war. So this is on the left-hand side. What ceasefire? European gas prices jump after Ukraine blows up key gas pumping station in Russia in active terrorism, because they're already talking about peace. This is the 21st of March, and Zelensky is attacking. Oh, here it is in the middle, I think. Yeah. From RFK Jr. He explains the war in Ukraine is nothing more than a money laundering scheme. That's what I wanted you to see, okay? So on the right-hand side, as losses mount, Ukraine deploys Fury battle bots to front line. We're supposed to wind down the war, but Ukraine is ramping it up. And it's because it's money laundering. That's what they want. Both of these articles are from Zero Hedge. So I'm comparing it to Purim. I'm saying these are 5 sons of Haman, like the 10 sons of Haman, but 5 of them have been killed lately. All eliminated. Dr. Eli David talks about this. 5 of these leaders. And so I'm telling you, the globalists running the earth are Satanists who revel in the ritualistic blood sacrifice of human beings, whether through war, abortion, jabs, or famine. They gain great dark spiritual power through human suffering and death. Oh, that's from Mike Adams. I'm sorry, that's not my quote. That's Mike Adams. But he is accurate there, okay? And so it's like Purim Fest 1946, where 10 Nazis were hung. Now we're going through possibly Purim Fest 2025. So these are the 10 names of the sons of Haman. These are the 10 Nazis that were killed during Purim Fest 1946, which included Julius Streicher, one of the weirdest stories out there. I don't know if I've ever told that story in video, but it's a weird story how there was Purim Fest 1946. So we're kind of concluding all the war stuff. Israel restarts the Gaza war, 3/18 of 2025. They've killed 342 at least that we know of. From Al Jazeera, Khamenei demands protesters in the U.S. and Europe rise up to stop Israeli military in Gaza. Whatever. He's a psycho. So Ukraine-Russia war. Putin is Russian military machine. Broke the ceasefire. Putin attacks Ukraine with drones. This is from today, a few hours, 14 hours ago. Putin is attacking with drones, and these are going to be nasty attacks. He's going to bring it to them. So I'm telling you what's coming up is that the Catholics are going to see a Satanist gathering, Black Mass, outside the state capital of Kansas, okay? This is from LifeSite News. So this is coming up on the 28th. Then they will worship the sun, the Satanists will, on March 29th. So once again, this is the 28th Satanic worship event, Black Mass, Wichita, Kansas, and March 16th, which, so basically they're being vandalized already. So the poor Catholic Church. So this is the partial eclipse. That'll be March 29th. So on the 28th, they want to worship Satan before that. Just interesting. Lots of signs, people. Satanists eagerly await heavenly signs. Skywatchers, get ready. That first solar eclipse of March 29th is coming up. And on the other side, the California Democrats are offering prayer to strange new God and open assembly session from Front Page Magazine, which is they're worshiping Beyonce. Okay? Straight down prayers to Lucifer. She is a noted Satanist, a huge witch. Huge. Okay, so it's all coming up here. It's going to be busy. You'll see a full, no, another partial solar eclipse on September 21st of 2025. So on the 7th and the 8th, we'll have the blood moon eclipse, and then on the 21st, we'll have another partial solar eclipse. Very interesting. So that would be the new month there. Interesting. So I'm telling you, the Satanists are aware of the solar flares that occurred last year. They're aware of what's going on right now. They assume the solar flares are signs from their sun god, okay? But they worship the sun, and these solar flares matter to them. So this is Eye of Wisdom again. I quote them a lot, but they know when the solar waves hit that it's going to be a bad time. And so they're watching us as believers, and they're curious on how we're going to prepare for these things. Just interesting. So, yeah, they think portals are opening. They really, they think that this is a big time for them. So just keep it in mind that that's what they want to occur. They want the portals to open. And the Satanists, the World Economic Forum, their moniker is an eclipse, okay? And so they worship the sun. These are the Satanists, okay? So just note it. And then to finish things out, I want you to be aware, this is from Tom Horn, the Wormwood Prophecy. At the end of the book, he says June 8th is the Pentecost Day coming up, which is very close to the June 11th time frame. And then 120 days before the start of the Feast of Tabernacles, 120, yeah, whatever. I mean, he meant well, but the 120 is not that meaningful, okay? But it's just interesting. So 120 days before the start of the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, interesting. So there's your Feast of Trumpets on September 22nd, 24th of 2025, and he's citing his passages there. And then there's Tabernacles on the 6th through the 13th of 2025. Unfolds 3.5 years before Apophis Wormwood shows up, which would be April 13th of 2029. 3.5 years before that, of course, is the time frame right now, 2025. Then he's saying it's possible that the end of the Great Tribulation will occur on October 13th of 2032. It's possible. I mean, a lot more would have to happen this year, but it's just very, very interesting. So Tom Horn, this is his timeline. It's interesting. He would say the first 3.5 years, the second 3.5 years. He is pushing for his rapture beforehand, but there is no rapture beforehand. It's not scriptural. We're in the birth pangs. I think we're coming up on the Seal 6. I think it could happen this fall. We'll see. We are not in the tribulation. We are not in the Great Tribulation. We might be in the Jubilee year. It's possible. It is actually possible. We'll wait and see. But these signs are huge, guys, and you're aware of them now. So I listed out pretty much everything. You're getting ready for a wedding on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot of a year in the future. You'll need clean garments. You'll need to not be naked. You're getting married. Get ready for that. Get your family ready for that. Be blessed. Thank you very much for your time. And hopefully we'll see you next week. God bless. Bye-bye.